your upbringing in the Pentecostal church, which is different than the Baptist church or the Methodist church or A&B church. It's a whole different thing.
This is a whole nother world.
Yeah, when I first heard your music, the first thing I said was, this nigga had been in a black church somewhere and been in a Pentecostal church somewhere.
That's right.
And so I was not at all surprised to find out when you hit that groove where you had come from. But just talk about that experience.
It totally informs everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out on the stage, I bring that with me. It's the thing about everyone has their own way of reaching that place, but my way has always been that, because I feel like when I come on the stage with that authority from that source, there's nothing that can touch that. And a lot of times before we go out on stage, pretty much every time, we pray. Me and the Vanguard, we pray. And before we start a prayer, I sing an old spiritual song from way back in the woods, you know.
You're singing this in your prayer circle?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we start off with a song, and we get in the spirit, then we pray, then we go out there.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
What's good with y'all today, man? You know, I created a platform to where we talk about creativity, celebrate one's artistry and our culture. We talk about hip hop, neo soul, R&B, you know, a plethora of things in the culture. And this was different to me because I grew up on D'Angelo's music. And to be honest with you, D'Angelo is one of a kind. There's nobody like him. And I feel like we should celebrate the lives of artists that is one of a kind. A few of them to me that, you know, if I would compare them to somebody, and you can't, but he said he was influenced by Prince. I get Erykah Badu vibes when I hear him speak. He was on Lauryn Hill's debut album also, lending her some vocals. He made Brown Sugar the movie. That soundtrack and the song that he created was almost just as important as the movie. First of all, I want to say condolences to the daughter because she lost both parents within a 6-month span. Also, rest in peace to Angie Stone. I can't imagine that, you know, losing both of my parents within a 6-month span. You know, he created a plethora of albums. Voodoo, Brown Sugar, you know, Icon, Black Messiah, just to name a few, even though his artistry and his music went beyond the albums, him lending his voice on other albums and on songs such as the Wu-Tang member GZA song. He did a record with Lauryn Hill, like I said earlier. I see a lot of people talking about the foolishness on the internet because that's what people do on this thing. They want to expose and talk bad about people and all of that old type of stuff, and talk about sacrifices and this and that foolishness that's going on just to get views and likes. But I'm over here to celebrate the life, you know, of a creator. I ain't going to talk about his depression or his drug abuse and none of that, because the people that's talking about that about him deal with those same similar things also. Nobody's perfect, dog. Real talk. But with all that being said, we're going to create the vibes on this podcast. And we're going to use D'Angelo's music to create the vibes because he was one of the best ever. Let's get to it. one of the records that I was fond of, that I favored, that was dope to me. You know, incredible creator, man. Real talk. This is going to be a long form episode. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. You know, some people like the clips, you know, the clipped up shows from when I clip up the full length episode. But this is going to be a full length episode. And some of the topics that we're going to be discussing is Nas' interview. You know, he talked about performing at the Super Bowl. He gave Kendrick Lamar some credit, and I salute that because Nas has been doing a wonderful thing. We're going to get to that shortly. Also, we're going to talk about Gucci Mane releasing his book. We're going to talk about two people releasing books, and I haven't done book reviews on the channel in a while, but I got one today for y'all, and it's Allen Iverson's book, Misunderstood. And I went on and purchased Gucci Mane book too, because when I first created the channel and he released the book in 2020, that was one of the books that helped propel my channel to start getting subscriptions and all of that, because people wanted to hear the reaction and the review. And I think I'm going to start back getting into reviewing books, though. But we're going to talk about Gucci Mane's new album. I'm going to do a reaction to that on the channel, too, tomorrow. But we're going to talk about some of the things that he was discussing on his Big Facts interview today on this episode. We also going to speak about Allen Iverson and his clips and review his book. We're going to get into some political things, and we're going to talk about Dr. Umar. He gave an update on the school. I know a lot of people are intrigued with that, and it's getting a lot of action. And 15 years is a crazy thing. You know, 15 years to be working on a school is, you know, it's different. But some more topics we're going to discuss also is Memphis and Elon Musk. I've been curating this episode for a while, and it's a lot going on in Memphis. More than just the National Guard. That AI facility and how it's affecting and impacting people's lives is a little crazy. Also, I want to discuss a lot of the political conversations that happened on News Nation last night. It was a great episode because the government shutdown is important. I know some people that watch my channel may work for the government, and, you know, I salute y'all having to deal with that. The black guy from Texas who spoke, that was an air traffic controller, he really said some things that was interesting, because the people that runs this government aren't as considerate as I think they need to be. Stephen A. Smith, a lot of people are trying to counsel him for some of the things that he said. He has been into politics as of recently with his new show, Straight Shooter, where he talks politics. And when you talk politics, everybody going to disagree with you. But he said some profound things, and I want to highlight some of the good things that he said. But before we get into the episode, though, you know, I got to keep the vibes going. So we're going to listen to a little bit more of this D'Angelo. Let's get right back to it.
Let's cruise away from here. Don't be confused, baby. The
let's get into the conversation, man. So the first topic of discussion I want to talk about is this interview that Nas was on. He's on his press run bag right now because his album is up and coming. The album that people have been anticipating for like 15, 20 years. I've been talking about Nas a lot on my channel because of the Mobb Deep reaction and reviews. And, you know, I probably will keep talking about him as long as he's doing excellent things. His collaboration with Marvel, him obtaining the license so he can participate in the casino activities in Queens. The release of albums from legends. I seen somebody in my comment section, and I rarely, you know, try to respond to the comments on the show, but they was talking about how Jay-Z brought the clips out and they did numbers to make financial gain, and how the artist that Nas is releasing is not doing the big numbers. You know, it had to be somebody young talk about numbers, because we don't care about numbers over here. I'm 45. I might be too old for all of that. I really don't care about who buying, who liking, or what y'all like. I'm not a follower. If I like it, I like it. If it's touching my soul and they speaking to me, I don't care if it sell one copy. You know, if it's flawless and it's fresh, I ain't concerned about the money. I hope that they make the most that they possibly can make and have the most success that they possibly can, because I ain't a hater. But at the end of the day, music wasn't created for that. If you really appreciate this culture and you really appreciate the art form, you'll do it for free. So salute to that. Slick Rick, Ray, Ghostface, Mobb Deep, Big L coming up on Halloween, De La Soul sometime in November. And now he's going to release his album sometime in December with DJ Premier. It's just that, you know, he deserves a round of applause. But he was on this complex platform and this young guy was interviewing him, and he asked him this question that caught my attention.
And speaking of rockstar shit,
yeah,
when is Nas doing a Super Bowl?
That's some super rockstar shit. Nah, I don't want to do. I don't want to say I don't want to do a Super Bowl, but I don't.
Why though?
Why would I do that? Just leave it to the professionals.
You are the professional of professionals, Nas. What are we talking about? You're Mount Rushmore.
Leave it to the pros, man. I'm a pro at what I do, but you know that thing there, I love it, but I wouldn't do it. No.
You can't keep that from the world though. That's real hip hop shit on one of the biggest.
Yes, it's the biggest stage, but. I want to watch it. I want to watch the halftime shows, and that's what's been happening lately. So salute to all of them.
You know, that really caught my attention because I started thinking about like certain artists, and do you have to be a sellout or something to participate in being in the Super Bowl? The imagery from the Super Bowl, people always have speculation that they are showing some sort of Illuminati, Masonry type of, you know, demonic images and all of that. Is that something that's a part of Nas' bag? No. Could Nas entertain during the Super Bowl? That's, you know, I think he could, but the whole world, the world know about Nas, but has his music, you know, crossed over to where Caucasians and yes, the man is participating in casino vibes. He could do the Super Bowl, but I don't know. It's just interesting to hear him say that he'll just rather watch it. I appreciate that though, because like me, I like his penmanship. It get to a point in life, you know, as you get older, somebody that's watching this podcast, where you don't care about success. You just want to be happy and do what you want to do. His penmanship, his creativity, he's doing the things that he wants to do now that he's financially stable. You know, he was talking about writing books and stuff. Is he going to write a book eventually? He said yes. Him becoming part of Marvel, creating superhero series from artists that he love and he like. He's doing what he want to do now because he's at that financial point to where he can. And that's just something that should be saluted. Real talk. Let's get into the next clip of what he had to say, because I found it, you know, crazy to this being spoken to when the album is coming up.
Salute to all of them.
Fair.
Yeah.
And recently you spoke to my brother Andre G at Rolling Stone, great journalist, and you called Kendrick a North Star for this newer generation of rap. I think really potent.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see a Kendrick Nas collab anytime soon? I feel like the streets also really need that.
Oh man, it's just all about the artist. Like when you get the chance to record and work together, to me it should feel like really natural, and that would be great. I'd love to work with him, but I feel like it just has to be smooth the way it connects, because it gotta be it just gotta be fire. Anything I do with anybody, especially someone like him, I just want to take my time with. So we'll see. Hopefully, you'd be so kind to do a song with your brother. Man. All you MCs out there, man, give me a call, man. I got some verses here and there. Sometimes they hit or miss.
I'm one of the all, nigga. I'm a MC. I'm one of the all. If you got some verses out there that you consider hit or miss, I can't call you. I don't have access to you. But I'm speaking it into the atmosphere right now. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. Let's do it. I can spit too. We can make a movie. Let me touch the topic, man. It's been rumors going around that it's a record on Nas's new album with Black Thought and Kendrick Lamar. If it's true, I think this will be a potent record similar to the Control record that was on Big Sean's mixtape with Jay Electronica and Kendrick Lamar. It's going to be a bar festival. And I'm looking forward to it. Like, I like bars. That's something that really matters to me in the culture. What you saying and speaking from experience, and the meaning and the multiple double entendres and metaphors and stuff in your raps. I really appreciate writing and the artistry of writing. It's affecting me in the movie realm right now because I can't go to the movies and get excited because they only going to show me graphics and effects and shit. And the writing of the movie isn't going to have me captivated. When Nas earlier this year has been a phenomenal year. The clips, salute to y'all. Alchemist on the production, Freddie Gibbs album, salute to y'all. The resurgence of Raekwon, the Chef, Ghostface, Kill All Them Boys, and just the raps that's been released where people are spitting raps. And, salute to Kendrick Lamar also, because without Kendrick Lamar doing what he did to Drake, see, I ain't paying no attention to that. A lot of foolishness was going on when Drake was running hip hop. And to be honest with you, no disrespect to Drake, but the singing and all the bullshit was going on. The programming rap, the weird shit, where everybody sound alike and all of that. The creativity was lost. Now that Kendrick Lamar won that battle and put bars to the forefront, it made it a place to where these artists can come out and spit these bars and spit these raps and it matter again. Now you seeing the niggas that's singing and ain't talking about shit not in the forefront anymore. Hope y'all paying attention to that. But if that record is true, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, 2025 hip hop, man, been a hell of a year. Round of applause to everybody that dropped and created something because y'all kept me away from the studio this year. Since COVID, I done dropped 6 albums. And man, that 2025, I ain't even been in the studio. I've been celebrating y'all and learning and, getting up to speed on the creativity. And I'm excited about everything that everybody's dropping. Salute to hip hop 2025. Let's go. I want to switch the topic up though. Dr. Umar is an individual that go on other platforms and talk about trending topics and talk about things like me. You know, he's an educator. He's a person that has a lot of degrees and has a lot of education. A teacher, a student. He speaks well. He went on this platform as of recently talking about his school and giving an update on his school. And I just want to play this clip for y'all and give y'all my take on what's going on with this foolishness.
The one thing that I just want to finalize is the renovations on the FDMG Academy. You know, we've been almost done for so long, and now we're at the floors. But I'm still scared to say we done, because every time I say we done, something else comes up. So, you know, I ain't been saying nothing. My thing is, when it's done, that's when I'll announce it. You know what I mean? I was supposed to go back to the Breakfast Club, and I text Charlamagne. I said, I'm not coming back up there one more time to tell people we almost done. You feel me? Yeah. When we done, I'll schedule with you. I'm not going up to Power 105 again until we done. I'm tired of saying it myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So when we done, that's when I'll do it, man. But we real close. When I fly back home tomorrow, I got to get to the school. They laying the floors now, and once that's done, we'll be applying for our certificate of occupancy. That's going to be interesting because the city has not been our friend. They tried to sell the school behind our back last month for some frivolous expenses that we should not have even owed. So I'm going to stay positive, but I'm not looking forward to the inspection because, you know, they can nitpick you to death on that.
Absolutely.
You know, so when people say when you're going to actually be done, that's not in our hands. We have to see what the city says, you know. But I'm hoping after all we've been through, they just say, go ahead. If it's all in order, just pass him, you know. But that hasn't been the experience. Like everything we've been through with the city has been a fight, you know, even to get a permit for the festival. They ain't want to give us that. You know, so it's really been a tug of war with them. I'm just hoping that we don't have to have a protest. I'm hoping we don't have to take them to court for discrimination. I mean, the bureaucracy is mostly black. The mayor's white, but the bureaucracy is black. But discrimination is discrimination, even if you're the same color. Right. You know, so I'm just, you know, I'm going to just put it in the Lord's hands and see. But we knock it on the finish line. So if all goes well, we should be able to apply for the inspection before the end of the year.
You know, discrimination is something that we are well aware of in America. In a multitude of ways, a lot of things has been discriminated against when you're trying to attempt to achieve something that everybody don't agree with. You know, on my channel, I've been talking about Dr. Umar for a while. My first episode talking about him was when he popped up on a Joe Budden podcast during a Patreon event. I had been listening to him on the Breakfast Club and stuff though, but I just, you know, didn't want to give a take on certain things that he was speaking going around that time. But ever since he did that interview on Joe Budden podcast, I've been aware like this school conversation has been going on for over a decade. If Dr. Umar heard my platform and he heard me speak, I'm gonna tell you, big dog, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, nigga. I hope you achieve it because your word is everything. You tell people you're going to do something and you're going to do it a certain way and people invest in you and believe you. You got to keep going no matter if it takes 30 years. Creating something, you know, it could take a lifetime. A lot of people will give you ridicule and say, why it ain't open now? Why it ain't this? Why it ain't that? Man, that man could be 70 and open that school and die and leave that school to somebody that furthers it, and his legacy will live on forever because he achieved what he said he was going to achieve. It's important. I'm rooting for you. And I hope the curriculum that you're teaching is something that is going to further people's life. You know, that is important because you have these children in here in highs, they're going to benefit because the education system right now is interesting to me because the things that's being taught is dated. The world is ever evolving and it's evolving faster than ever. With this artificial intelligence, they don't sleep. Artificial intelligence, they got time all day long to learn your behaviors, and they don't need rest and they're getting the money. and they going to work 24/7. I don't know who they is, but artificial intelligence. I hope the curriculum when this school does open is of value to the people. Real talk. Another thing, he said he was not looking forward to the inspection. A certificate of occupancy is something that don't necessarily have to be gave to you. You know, you got to be up to the standards, and it's got to be something that is deemed beneficial to the people. He hasn't wanted to expose the curriculum that he is teaching, but I think he needs to do that. Real talk. And to be honest with you, when me personally, I talk on shows and things, but I don't teach on shows. If you learn something, you learn something. If you entertained, I appreciate you. But, you know, exposing yourself on YouTube platforms, talking about what you're doing and what you're going to do and financial literacy and financial structure and all of that. And then you aren't what you speak about. Man, it make the whole world look at you funny, big dog. Real talk.
How do you keep it together? Back to that mental health thing. Like, how do you feel?
I'm going to be honest with you. The haters, the struggle streamers, they really helped toughen me up to the criticism because we've been dealing with it from the first day we took a donation in St. Louis, Missouri, April of 2014, when the St. Paul's College in Virginia went up for sale, because that's what we wanted. We wanted that HBCU. But they wanted $2 million and we couldn't raise it in time, so they sold it to the Asians who currently have it now. So then that's when we said, well, we just gonna find us a regular school. So from 2014 till 2019, we school hunted. We found FDMG in 2017, but we couldn't afford it at the time. So we just stayed in negotiations with the owners, and then finally, February 2019, they gave it to us.
I'm gonna close this topic out, man, and say I'm rooting for you, big dog. Go out there and make it happen, Umar. I'm rooting for you, nigga. Real talk. I ain't want, you know, my views ain't the biggest or the baddest, but I don't consider myself a struggle streamer, nigga. That word is like, you know, when you start speaking derogatory on other individuals or you start speaking negative towards other individuals, then expect to get that same energy back. When you're on your channel or on your platform talking about exposing individuals and these niggas and these white folks and these people over here caring about what everybody else got going on instead of giving a positive take, you know, expect that same energy to come back to you, man. Like, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to deal with it unless it's positive, if I can't speak positive about it. So at the end of this clip or whatever, I'm going to say, Dr. Umar, I'm rooting for you, nigga. Real talk. I'm rooting for you. Switching up the topic, though, you know, Gucci Man, he just released his book. He released his album titled Episodes. And me listening to him and his music, I think this album is phenomenal from Gucci. Gucci got to be down there 150 projects in. He's an inspirational rapper to the southeastern part of the United States. Gucci is one of the greats. You know, he write books. I purchased one of his books back in 2020. It was a great book, The Guide to Greatness by Gucci Man. Great book. This title, Episodes, caught my attention because his wife speaks about it. He speaks about it during conversation. I'm going to play a clip of him talking about it, but what I want to say before I play the clip is that we all deal with episodes if we want to be real with ourselves. You know, an episode is when you acting out a character and you doing things that you normally wouldn't do. Everybody has had that experience with an episode. Think about how you handled your last episode. Think about where it took you and did it benefit you, your episode. Let's get into the clip, though. Dealing with episodes.
Right back. And I like to say this, too, like, for us, like, with the episodes, I know we were talking about earlier, I felt good that, like, after I had them episodes and got out, a lot of them people I reached out to and said, hey, I'm sorry, I was going through something I went well. Then that's real. Them folks, like, I forgive you, Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said some bullshit about Drake, text them some crazy jump, but once I was going through an episode, So I had to hit him back and be like, I'm sorry about that. You know what I'm saying? I was going through something. And he was like, man, you know, we're gonna get past that. Brothers go through stuff. Bro, it felt so good that like people went like, understood. Cause I'm straight like, I'm sorry. To everybody I said anything. Cause I'm just tweeting, I'm just texting people and I might did it to 30 people. Yeah. Some people like, don't want to hear it. You said something that was so offensive, they just don't fuck with me no more. But a lot of people was like, man, we're gonna get past that. It ain't no big deal. And I'm like appreciative of that.
And they not trying to hold on to that grudge.
Yeah.
But do you appreciate it so much because you know, like, I probably wouldn't have forgave you.
No, I'm like that too. For real. It's like that. Like I probably wouldn't have forgave you. It's people who I won't forgive. You feel they don't get no comeback. They can't come around me no more. Yeah. But somebody forgave me though.
So that makes you be like, damn, I really take that to heart because I know how I am. Like I really hold a grudge till you go. But
let's say for instance, like Thug said some stuff about me or whatever, right? Yeah. And it came on the internet. But then he made a song and say, I miss my dogs about me. I immediately accept the apology because I done been there. Yeah. And I wanted somebody to forgive me. I know how that it's like a weight on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody like, bro, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Talk to him?
I ain't talked to him. Yeah. But like
I
said,
do forgive him.
Yeah, I forgive him.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, life is crazy. You can forgive, but I expect you to not forget. Him talking about forgiving and apologies, and it reminds me of the time when he was just going on that tweet craze where he was talking crazy about everybody. And he was talking about that was a time when he was on lean perks and it just wasn't a good time in his life. He knew he was going to jail. He was in a dark space. The reason I keep talking about this is interesting because everybody have episodes. We just seen Young Thug have an episode that was exposed to the world with his jail phone calls being released. He was having an episode. Like if somebody is going through something and dealing with something that you disagree with, can you forgive them? Will you accept their apology? Because we all deal with things. We all go through things. It's just the reality of it. Episode. I like that. I like that he's promoting this, and it's kind of a healthy thing also to be speaking this way, coming from a nigga that's from the streets, that's very influential to the street. Gucci is one of those artists that put a lot of people on, man. He put the Migos on. To me, he elevated Nicki Minaj to a space that made Young Money want to sign her. That's just me being honest. Because she was doing those songs with Gucci Man on those mixtapes. Yo Gotti, man, with certain artists, the biggest artists from Memphis, Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, they was up under Gucci Man. When that Ridiculous and that Bricks and all of that stuff came out on those mixtapes, that elevated Yo Gotti to a place of a boss status. What Yo Gotti done after that, salute to that, you know, he elevated and evolved himself, but that, coming from up under that Gucci Man tree had an impact on his career. French Montana, Young Thug, all of these people that he put in position in Atlanta. It's crazy. From producers to Zaytoven and 808 Mafia and just a lot of those guys, man, they come from up under that Gucci Man tree. And I think that his influence and impact will have people looking through his lens about having episodes, and it'll help people deal with themselves having that episode. Like you go through a situation, you're not who you are at the moment. Check yourself. Because awareness is everything. Let's get into the next clip, though, because they start talking about Verzuz during that interview, and I feel like, you know, this is something that's important.
As a person who did probably the most legendary Verzuz, Cash Money and No Limit when this Verzuz go down, what you think?
Whoa, boy, that's serious. I like both of them a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I love No Limit and I love Cash Money.
Who inspired you more?
When I used to be going to school, in high school, like we used to get everything that P put out. Mm-hmm. We listen to P, we can't wait to P verse come on. He got 1 million albums, we listen to waiting on P verse.
Yeah.
So I'm really a super duper No Limit fan.
Yeah.
But I got a relationship with P, with P. But I got a relationship with Bird and Slam too. And I have a lot of respect for them. And they inspired me too. I ain't gonna lie, both of them inspired me a lot. Both of them super dope.
Gotcha.
I can't really pick between
That's fair.
them two.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
But the Verzuz inside, no, you're right. I agree with that 100%. But the Verzuz inside of 2025, it's a lot of these people don't know nothing about no Limit. They know about this new Cash Money.
Yeah, now you're right.
Yeah, but that's what I was telling. That's what I was saying to Scream, because No Limit were the pioneers
for
of
us.
that
Yes,
shit.
that's for us.
You gotta put some respect on No Limit.
Yeah, she get to talking. I get to tuning out, man. But salute to Baby Jade. Salute. You know, I appreciate Gucci talking about he had respect for both labels. I'm not going to speak negatively on No Limit, but to be honest with you, Cash Money is the biggest, the most successful. It's no comparison. Put people on. Help people get the money that they gotten. Trillion streams. I just played a clip of Birdman talking to DJ Academics about 1 trillion streams. That's streams that ain't even record sales, CDs and all of that old type of stuff from the past. And it like 10 years ago, he said he had 1 billion records sold. And he's still on tour with NBA Youngboy. Right now, the hottest artist in the game, Cash Money, Birdman. But with that being said, in a Verzuz though, Master P, the blueprint, man. I remember being a young boy when I first got my car. We used to go to this black-owned music store in my hometown, JK Music. If you're an artist, you know about JK Music because he threw all the shows in the city. He booked you and got you there, and you did your in-store signing and all of that. JK Music used to have those CDs for sale like he was selling work, packed up $20 a piece, them No Limits. And there used to be a line at the store. This is good game for the young folks, man. P used to have a line at the store. Right when he opened up, we lined up at the store, all the street niggas and the dope boys, the girls and everything, ready to pay $20 so we can go listen to this P. Not this P, let me stop, pause. This No Limit. Anything that they drop to. Cain and Abel drop, we was lined up. Fiend drop, we was lined up. Mac drop, we was lined up. Mr. Servon drop, we was lined up. Fiend drop, we was lined up. Silk the Shocker drop, we was lined up. True drop, Silk C and P, we was lined up. C Murder drop, we was lined up. Snoop Dogg drop, we was lined up. Sons of Funk drop, we was lined up. Mia X drop, we was lined up. Out in front of that store, $20 a piece. Niggas sell out by noon and close the store down. If you was a local artist and you dropped on the same date as P, it was beneficial because your album got seen in the store also. We couldn't just pick up our phone and listen to it. We had to go buy it. So to the youth, that's a different experience. And that man got up $400 million trapping them CDs and them albums like that. And I feel like whoever curate the show is going to have a important part because P got some songs, man, that No Limit Soldiers that break them off something. Those West Coast albums where he had E40 and all them boys on there. Hard. Silk the Shocker songs. That C Murder come on. That C Murder come on. With that Snoop Dogg. It's different. Mystical. He got a song that is kind of comparable to Back That Ass Up. That Shake It Fast. Watch yourself. Shake it fast. So I'm entertained. I'm going to be streaming it live on my channel next weekend. So I'm going to be here curating the show. I'm going to have a call-in number so we can talk about the verses and everything. And I appreciate y'all, man. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Real talk, so you can become part of the La Familia. But, you know, the Verzuz talk didn't end with No Limit and Cash Money. It kept going.
Right. Yeah. Hey, now you said something about the Verzuz. Do you feel like when you remember after you did that and then he did, Jeezy did his part, you felt kind of like, damn, the nigga just got over there.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I ain't never said this, though. After I did, what song I did? The Truth.
Yeah,
The Truth, yeah.
I'm glad that he stopped and did what he did.
Yeah.
Because if he would have played Stay Scrap, I don't think I could have took it.
What was there?
I'm telling you. That's what, like I guess he's seeing the situation. Said let's calm it down.
Yeah.
Because it would have been like a volcano. It would have.
You was already ready to go there. I seen you moving. I seen you.
I was ready. I was ready to go there.
You had on the coat.
I really was in the heat of the moment. I didn't even intend for it to be like that. I didn't intend to go there like that.
Yeah.
But then it's like once you get there, it's like it just
fuck all that.
Man, it just gloves off.
Yeah, that's why you can't. Saying she was saying earlier, you can't revisit situations.
Yeah,
try
open
to
up
clean it up
wounds.
because you
Open
don't
up
know
the
how
wounds.
you like. I don't know how I'm.
I I ain't even know like the stuff I said and all that. Like none of that was planned. That jump was just, you know, you just
off the cuff.
It was just, yeah, it was
Niggas
just.
was at home like, ooh, that nigga, ooh, that nigga Gucci great, ooh. But Jeezy kind of, for the grown folk, you know what, bro, I stand all of Brent did all that shit he did then.
I
On
tell
the
you
realest
what.
nigga, that shit kind of was hard too, though.
Nah, yeah, I respected it.
Yeah.
I
But you
respect
said
it
if you
because-
trying to come back and stay strapped, you throwing the mic
Because
all
see,
type of
listen,
shit.
I thought that I'm the level-headed one. You know, I'm like mature now. So like that side of me don't come out no more.
Yeah.
So that's how I came and going into the verses. But once I started the verses, it seemed like he was more level-headed and calmer than I was. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because I'm dropping diss records. He didn't drop no diss records.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But that's how I looked at it. Like, damn. So it kind of made me. I ain't
Who
gonna say.
with you? Who with you?
Oh, I had it with me.
What they was saying? what they was saying when the truth was playing? They were rapping it.
Man, they ready. They ready.
I want to give Gucci Man a round of applause before I give my take. You know, tomorrow or Monday, I will release my Gucci Man reaction to his album also, so we can check out the records together. But I want to say something about the conversation that they had on Big Facts. I love to see the growth in the individual. I think as you age and you evolve in life, you should show growth. Staying the same now is lame. I remember we used to talk about I'ma always be the same. I'ma always be real. And all this when I was young. Staying the same is lame. I want the youth to hear that one more time, man. Learn, grow, evolve, heal, jog, breathe fresh air, drink water, run, learn, open up a book. Stay away from those environments to bring the worst out of you. That's something that I want to say, because when he talked about that energy that he couldn't control when he was on the Verzuz, he was back in an environment where he had to be defensive and he had to be offensive at the same time, because the beef was back. He wanted to show that he was tougher and bigger and better. And that moment was like probably the last time I didn't see growth in Gucci Man, but it's just interesting too. He got a diss on this album that is valid. He has a valid reason for dissing Joe Budden on this album, and I'm going to address that in the reaction. Make sure that y'all check this reaction out. But that conversation made me think about like why I don't hang around the people I used to hang around or go to the areas in the neighborhoods that bring out the worst in me. You got to protect yourself, man. It's lame not to evolve. That's what I'm going to say. This whole show is make it make sense, man. I'm going to play the record that inspired that. We get ready to get into some of the topics after I react to Allen Iverson's book and some of his press runs and talk about his life and stuff. We're going to get into the make it make sense part of the show. But before we get into that, I'm going to play some music, man, because you know how I like to do. Let go.
They gon'
Salute the Rocco, dope record, man. Dope album too. Salute the Metro Boomin, Futuristic Summer, dope album they put together with all of the Atlanta artists that was doing their thing in I say 2005 to 2010. Them boys was cold, man, with that futuristic sound. But we got to keep the conversations going, man. Real spill. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If you ain't hit the like button by now, man, go ahead and man, come on, quit playing. Real talk, it's free. Quit playing, man. Help your boy trigger the algorithm. Real talk. Quit playing. So, the last 3 days I spent listening to Allen Iverson's audiobook on Audible. Misunderstood. I like to learn about individuals. Michael Jordan is my GOAT, but my favorite 3 players to watch and seeing their upbringing and stuff is Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, and Tracy McGrady. I just love those boys, man. I know they offensive heavy, but that was, my type of style of play, my type of swag that I, gravitated to around my life. And that was around the prime of my life, to be honest with you, when those boys was playing in the league. But listening to this book, I didn't know that he had gone through so many things. I didn't know that his upbringing was so hard and he did jail time and stuff like that. And to listen to his story and to think about where we at in basketball now, where I think that, you know, coming up from the streets, it's going to be hard for a young kid to come up and first face the adversity that he would have to face nowadays, because, you know, these kids get funded and they go through programs and schooling and stuff right when the parents can afford it. And these kids from the hood ain't going through that program, and they just got a ball and they got to make their dreams happen. But let's get into AI, talking about he didn't have no blueprint. He just did what he had to do.
Yes. Did you feel pressure? No pressure?
Was not even not even a thought.
You come through Georgetown, #1 pick, you're making this money. I mean, that journey, everyone was putting their bet on you. You're gonna basically take us to a place we wanna go, haven't been. Did you feel pressure as far as that's concerned? No?
Couldn't have said it better than how you said it. Just like that. You know what I mean? But 21 years old, I never had a blueprint to life.
Right. You're making it
better yet, rich life. Never had nothing in my life. Right. I didn't have no blueprints, nothing. I never had nobody in my family that ever had money. I never had nobody in my family that had ever been to college.
Right.
You know what I mean? I everything I was getting from people in unfamiliar territory. Right. You know what I mean? Coach Thompson was like the first person that I ever been around that had that type of success and could understand what I was going through and where I was trying to go. He used to always tell me, you always listening to somebody that don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? How can they tell you how to get from A to Z and they ain't never been there? Right. That's one thing he used to always tell me, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean?
You know, I think that the world has changed so much. We're living in times where people don't have empathy or be sympathetic for children that grow up in impoverished situations. Like, some individuals who make it out feel like, you know, make it out. I made it out. Why you can't do the same thing that I can do? When I feel like that's a disservice. You know, if you come from that environment, assisting a person ain't bad. If you see that person want to take it to the next level and they're willing to do the things to take it to the next level. Allen Iverson from listening to this book, he was a kid dealing with a lot of challenges. He just didn't like authority. He didn't like being told what to do. He didn't like waking up early to go to school and all of that. But you can't blame him, because what did he see the opposite of? By his father not being there, by him being around his stepfathers and all of that old type of stuff. And growing up in the hood, the men that you want to be like is the men that dress fresh and sell the dope and got the money and the cars. It's just, how can you blame a kid that grows up in that environment if you ain't willing to assist them and you see they're hungry and they want more? Man, do y'all think that this is a question I want to pose before I play the next clip of him talking about his mother? And it's a short one. But do y'all think the days is over for kids coming up in the hood and everything going to the league? Because we see the league is transitioning to kids that come from other countries and things. It's almost just as many as them people coming from other countries as it is black players in the league left. It's just interesting, man, the change in the game. Let's go.
Like, damn, mommy said I can do it. So I was out there putting the fucking work in to become that. I was out there doing it. Even with all that shit going on around me. I would go out there and put the goddamn hours out there on that goddamn court until it got dark. I was hungry as a motherfucker. I'm gonna play basketball. There ain't no food in this goddamn house. I'ma take it out on somebody. My friends dying in the streets. Let's play football, goddammit. I'm mad. I want to hit somebody. I want to do something.
You know, that was a part of the book that I clipped up for y'all from Audible or whatever. It was important to me because, you know, getting that pain out and thinking about what you got, like dealing with stuff at home and you want to release that rage. I didn't know that AI was a hell of a football player neither. I heard about it and things, but he got more specific about it in the book, talking about how he got to the quarterback position, him being small and what he achieved at the quarterback position. And that was the sport that he enjoyed the most until his mom believed in him in basketball and made him go to tryouts. And she supported him, and that empowered him. That's why it's important to have certain individuals in your life, like your mom. You need a village around you, the people that's in your community to help you and to put that passion and that fire in you and speak positively over you. I think that that's important, speaking positively over a child, over the youth. Even if you don't see, they could be looking bad, having a bad hair day, dress bad, down on themselves. Say something positive and you could change the whole trajectory of their life, not just their day, just by you empowering them and them remembering that time and time over again in their life. They'll remember that, and they'll go back to that as a point of reference that I'm great. Do that, man. Real talk. Let's get into the next clip where he speak about his mom going up to Georgetown while he was in jail his senior year in high school. He did enough in his junior year to where people was noticing him and he was ready to go to college and everything. He was in jail his senior year. His mom went up to Georgetown. She went to D.C. and spoke with Coach John Thompson.
As coach, I didn't think that would work for me. My mom didn't listen to me, as usual, but what she did when I was in jail wasn't something I could control. So the next part is just a story I heard. I heard it from my mom about 1,000,000 times, and Coach Thompson liked to tell it too. It went like this. My mom and Boo Williams agreed Georgetown was worth a shot. Williams had a prior relationship with Coach Thompson because he had coached morning in AAU ball and was involved in the recruitment. So Williams called Coach Thompson to talk about me. Coach Thompson said he would be willing to consider it, but wanted a meeting with my mom. So my mom, Boo, Jamil Blackman, an older dude who had become close with me and my family, and Butch Harper, who ran the Aberdeen sports program, all got in a car and took a drive up to D.C. They arrived on campus at McDonough Gymnasium, where Coach's office and the practice facility were at. Once they got there, they started talking. The meeting got off to a terrible start. Somebody in the room questioned whether Coach Thompson could coach a guard, and he was about ready to kick them on out of there. So my mom stopped it, and she asked to speak to Coach Thompson alone. Everyone shuffled out, and it was just the two of them. Then she started crying. She basically begged him to take me, told him about how much she and I had been through, about how I had hopes to bring the whole family out of poverty. And then she got really serious and basically said that if Coach Thompson didn't save me, if I was left down there with everything going on, I could die. It was my life in the balance. I didn't know Coach Thompson yet, but I can imagine how he was from when I did know him. He probably got all stern and serious. He would agree to help the child, but the child would have to agree to concentrate on his studies, and there would be no excuses for any misbehavior. I could see him saying something like that. He said he would send his athletic department academic advisor down to Virginia to check out my work. No promises. By the time my mom and Coach Thompson walked out of his office, it was arm in arm. He later said of that day, he saw the love of a mother who was afraid for the life of her child.
He saw the love of a mother who was afraid for the life of their child. Wow. Georgetown, in the book, he spoke about it being a place that he wasn't too familiar with, having great point guards, because it was a place that prioritized the big man, because John Thompson was a big man. He had Ewing, he had Mourning, he had others that I really can't remember right now, but it was always a great big man, and they just brung the ball down and gave it to the big man down low to do his thing and got out the way. But having Allen Iverson, the ultimate small man, it would have to be a totally different game, and it worked. He appreciated him. He talks about him in his book also, the book I have of John Thompson is a great book also, talking about basketball and the life of him at Boston and, coming up through his historic rise in sports. And I think, didn't he play at Georgetown also? Yeah, I think he played at Georgetown also. So the history at Georgetown is interesting. And I felt like that was important to talk about in this book, more important than the dressing and talking about practice. We done heard that forever. If you are familiar with Allen Iverson, if you are young listening to this, that practice thing was blasphemous, the way that the media hyped that up. And nowadays you have people doing load management and not playing in games and all of that old type of stuff. It was blasphemous because the man came and played, and he never said that he didn't enjoy practice. He just said, y'all talking about practice. That's all. So I felt like his time at Georgetown was something that I wanted to highlight, and his relationship with Jordan is something I want to highlight also from the interviews in the book that he has. But, I want to talk about Georgetown for just a hot second, and I'm going to get on to his relationship with Jordan. I thought that, like, watching it on TV in the South, I would think that Georgetown was like a HBCU. But when I went to Georgetown in real life, when I visited DC, and I seen how expensive things was, I seen the designer stores, the restaurants that's up there, and the elegance and the oldness of Georgetown, and realized that this ain't no black school. This is a place where a lot of the senators and people that's in politics kids go to school. Like, this is like a prominent school. And it's interesting. See, they got a black coach, but DC is Chocolate City. Is just interesting. DC has HBCUs and all of that, but Georgetown ain't what y'all may think it is if y'all don't know too much about that area. It's a real prominent school. And I rock with Georgetown. I enjoy them. I want to see them get back on top too, or get back to playing, just good basketball. One thing I want to say though, y'all disrespectful for them ticket prices up there though. That shit is super disrespectful. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I think I'm the best. I think I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan in the world. I know I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan. I will argue you down when it comes to that. I love him that much. You know what I mean? I've seen him a plethora of times, and he never looks like a real human being to me. I mean, I've never seen someone look at someone, and maybe it's just that I love him that much. I get nervous around him every time I'm around him.
To this day?
Yeah, like I went to a Charlotte game. I live in Charlotte, and he was with, obviously, the owner of the Hornets. And he invited me to a game. We come up, and we in his suite, and my friends pulled me to the side and was like, Chuck, he called me Chuck. Like, Chuck, man, you are embarrassing the hell out of us, man. It's like, you a superstar too, man. Don't do this. You know what I mean? And
what were you doing?
Just, man, do you know how much I love you, man? And and this story and that story, and this is what you mean to me. And, I always looked at you. You look like a superhero on the basketball court. And I always wanted to look like a superhero like you. And I put my flavor like you with my headband and my wristband. And, my shoes always got to match my uniforms and, different, you know what I mean?
You're a Hall of Famer talking like this?
It's Michael Jordan, man.
But you're one of the 75 too.
You got to understand that I wouldn't be one of the top 75 if it wasn't for him. He gave.
It's going to always be an appreciation for Jordan, but the farther we get away from his greatness and his achievements, the less he's appreciated because the youth don't know the history. One thing I want to commend both of these brothers on, and I understand why he's a big Jordan fan, because the greatness in Jordan wasn't him being the best athlete or the fastest or the strongest or the tallest. It was him up against adversity and him putting his life on the line to win those games. Willing to go in the hole when he knew he was going to get fouled. Putting his life on the line. So Allen Iverson can resonate with that when I listen to this book based upon the background of his and how he came up and how he had to put that energy out to be able to win those type of games, being a small man. So he looked up to Jordan doing that. Today, the game is kind of sweet. And no disrespect to the players of today, you know, because it's the era that y'all play in. But it's kind of sweet. It's not physical. It's not, you know, imagine, like, the one thing I want to commend Allen Iverson on before I play the last clip of his book, and I suggest y'all go get his book if y'all like. You know, I'm not a sponsor or getting paid to promote the book. I'm just being honest with y'all and telling y'all the truth about how I feel about the book. But go purchase his book because it's just an interesting conversation and something that is historical, his life experiences and things. But hand checking, for him to achieve the things he achieved during a time where they was hand checking, because now you can't touch the player coming up the court. During his time, you could hand check. You could, you know, touch the person. So him being his height, I think he's 6'2" or 5'10" or something. I don't know what he is, the height. I can't remember, but he was a small guy. And him being a small guy and being able to achieve the things that he achieved at his size during the hand checking era, man, he deserves a round of applause.
They had me on this show one time, a fucking debate show. And yes, they were debating. They were getting personal, but they couldn't get me to talk like that. I know they were thinking, man, we got to get this motherfucker off this camera. This kid ain't going to talk shit about nobody. I look at the NBA today, and they limit the hand checking. They spread everyone out. There's even more freedom on the court. Imagine all the shit I could have accomplished in that environment. And all these younger guys with crazier styles than I ever had, no one paying it any mind. I'd pay the dues so that these guys could express themselves and bring home a bag, making millions and millions more than I ever made. But nah, I can't criticize anyone. The players that came after me on the 75th anniversary team were guys like Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade. Dudes who not only exemplified greatness, but also wore number 3, following in my footsteps. Then you had Russell Westbrook and James Harden. I'd put them on my TV anytime they played. And of course, my favorite, Steph Curry, who hit 16 threes during the All-Star game that very day. I remember sitting in the crowd watching him go crazy like that, and I was just enjoying the show. I don't even like to say a favorite because all those dudes are so great. Just think about my draft class of 1996. Not long after they called my name, Ray Allen and Steve Nash joined me up there. Of course, the greatest draftee of 96 couldn't attend. When they announced Kobe's spot, we all just stopped celebrating for a minute. God damn it, it wasn't right that he wasn't there with us.
You know, that was the last chapter in the book, him talking about being one of the 75 greatest players to ever play in the NBA and being the shortest guy out of those 75, the smallest guy out of those 75 players to make it to the NBA. I feel like if y'all interested in this, go purchase the book, man. Real talk. Dope conversation, dope individual. Loved his story, and, you know, I purchased the book. It's so good that I feel like I should purchase a copy of the book, a physical copy, just to have access to it. Round of applause to AI, man. Salute to AI. I'm in the same city as AI, Randy Moss, and Michael Jordan. A few great individuals. And you can see them guys, man, on the street from time to time. Especially Mike, because he got the police escort, so it's easy to see him out. But AI, he be in the malls a lot. Randy Moss, you might see him at a restaurant or something, eating or passing in traffic. Charlotte is an interesting city, and I don't know why those two guys chose Charlotte. But it's just an interesting place. Salute to AI, man. Go purchase the book, man. Real talk. Misunderstood. So I want to get into this conversation that News Nation had. They had a town hall meeting. That's what they called it. With Bill O'Reilly, Stephen A. Smith, and Cuomo was the host, or Cuomo, or whatever the Cuomo family was the host. And the conversations was about government shutdown, the media, and radicalization on both sides, on the Republican side and on the Democrat side. But I want to start it off with what Stephen A. had to say about objectivity.
And when Bill brings up the media, he's absolutely right from this perspective. There's absolutely positively no excuse for a member of the media, I'm talking about a journalist, to take a side. The facts are the facts. Like, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not the biggest fan of how he behaves. But the fact is that if he's done a good job, give him credit for doing a good job. If he's done a good job here, fine. If he hasn't done a good job there, fine. Call it as you see it, because you have to make sure that the public at large is able to look at you and say that I trust that you believe what you're saying you believe, and that it's based on factual information and not your personal feelings or personal animus. And when you do that, then you galvanize the American people, because they're going to say, okay, I can trust you. And as a result, there won't be a dissipation or a diminished level of trust in the media. What has happened to the media is that, unfortunately, too many people are looking to say things just to be saying things, just to have a particular side, because it gets them paid. Well, guess what? It's damaging to the country.
You know, I feel like a lot of this rhetoric from even independent YouTubers and media and people that speak about things that's important to the masses is getting weird, because everybody is showing a side. You ain't media if you just on there talking and you talking about things the way you view it. You speaking with feelings and emotions instead of speaking with objectivity. I understand what Stephen A. Smith is saying about that, but that is sort of like, you know, should we have censorship? Basically, should we censor people who are not speaking nothing? Because what social media has done is gave a voice to the voiceless. Everybody has a voice, even if you agree or disagree with the person now. Everybody has access to lending their voice to a topic or a discussion or a situation. So what he's saying that a lot of people don't even know what objectivity is, or being objective when they speaking about a topic at hand. Because everybody I see is trying to like expose individuals, or, you know, talk negatively about a person, or what they're against, or whose side they're on and whose side they ain't on. When, you know, when I speak, I try to speak to the best interest of the whole. You know, not try to be negative about nothing, but speak to what I see. Just give what I see, not how I feel. Real talk, man. You know, the first thing that caught my attention during this debate, though, after the objectivity in media, because that's important, man. Think about that. Like, why you, like, certain individuals, why do you pick a side? It got to be, you know, picking a side, to me, it got to be some sort of benefit in it for you. You got to been done sold yourself to this side because they took care of you, or you're in agreement of how they conduct their business. It has to be something, instead of prioritizing the whole. When you objective and you independent in your thoughts and you can think for freely about how you feel about things, you'll never pick a side, because no side has nothing to offer you, really. So objectivity in media, I think it's a good thing, but I think it could be borderline like trying to control what people say. Back to it though, let's get to the next topic. It was an air traffic control operator that was the first person that they allowed to speak out of the crowd. And Kumo asked him a question, and this came from the question.
Sure. Give us your name, Jack. Well, I just did that for you. Tell us where you're from and what's your question for O'Connor.
Hello, my name is Jack Chris, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm an air traffic controller for the Federal Aviation Administration. Been there 16 years. I've also been through the Obama shutdown and also the Trump shutdown in the previous. And my question is, under the current political climate, do you think that this shutdown could actually be longer than the previous shutdowns due to the external pressures, political pressures that we're having an effect right now? Because I am actually driving DoorDash when I get off work, just to kind of make sure I can pay for my daughter's tuition.
Well, Jack, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for making it clear this is not a game.
No, it's not.
There are people like you who aren't going to get paid, aren't getting paid.
True.
There are troops. I was talking to the mom of someone who served in the Army, and she didn't know until the president figured out how to jigger the funds whether she was going to be able to pay for her kids' groceries. So one of the things I think Senator Manchin said that I agree with is, why is it that every member of Congress and senator isn't locked into the Capitol complex until we get a deal?
Right.
They ain't locked in there because they don't give a damn. They still getting their check. Y'all deal with it. Real talk. To me, he didn't answer the man's question. The man asked him a specific question. He's talking around the question. The question was, how long do you think this, can it be longer than, the previous ones, because he's experienced ones before? I just read a little article saying that they will receive partial payments on October the 28th. This thing has been going on since October the 1st, and people are working and not working for the United States, working for the federal government without receiving a dollar. Man, it's hard to go to work and get paid right now in the world. People ain't happy about getting paid and going to work. So imagine going to work and not getting paid. It's crazy to me. But, he spoke about things that wasn't pertaining to the question. But to me, I feel like the narrative that people been putting out on social media is that, why are you living paycheck to paycheck? It's people that make $1 million a year that's living paycheck to paycheck. It's NBA players that's getting $100 million contracts, making $30 to $50 million a year, or upwards more of 50, and living paycheck to paycheck. It's not smart. It's people that's making $12 an hour that ain't living paycheck to paycheck. It's based upon your wants, your needs, and how you conduct yourself with your finances. Real talk. And it ain't your business to be concerned about somebody else who is living paycheck to paycheck. Real talk. Because you ain't assisting them in no kind of way. If you assisting a person, then it's your business. But if you ain't assisting a person, why do you actually care? If they're living paycheck to paycheck, people got responsibilities out here. The price of living is through the roof. You go to the grocery store, you spend $100 on a bag and a half of groceries, and you're done eating that shit in a day and a half. So it's different out here. Cabs, Ubers is $50. Haircuts is $50, $60. All the necessities is through the roof. You can't get a clean bottle of drinking water for under $5. Real talk. So being concerned with somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck is, kind of disrespectful. But man, I hope that, the government get open soon. And I don't want to see people struggling. It seems like in this country, the people aren't prioritized. And they haven't been prioritized in a long time. From Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden, back to Trump. The people haven't been prioritized, and I think something like catastrophic is going to have to happen for the people to be prioritized. Sort of like COVID. People bodies start having to be dropping for them to actually show that they even cared about people, instead of sending trillions and billions of dollars to other countries and not caring about the people of your country. His question got answered, though. Let me play the lady who answered the question.
Dr. Jack, thank you for your work. I talked to regional air traffic controllers. I'm from the Philadelphia region, and we also have Reading Regional. We have some other regional airports. I talked to an air traffic controller. I have been to the tower. You guys are so dedicated. You work long hours, high stress, and I know with this shutdown, some of your support staff have been furloughed because they're non-essential. We are asking the world of you, and you keep the skies safe. Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible that this goes longer? I came in 19. I was sworn in the longest shutdown in government history under Trump administration 1. 35 days. I met with air traffic controllers. They were doing garage sales to make sure, selling stuff out of their houses to make sure they could feed their families. It is absolutely irresponsible. Why are the Republicans not here negotiating?
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
That was interesting, man. That lady was standing firm in her business, and she called out the Republicans. I'm independent. I don't pick a side. But in this government shutdown, Republicans, you know, they've been showing their true colors. Democrats, they've been showing their true colors. In the divided states of America, we haven't been united on nothing. In the divided states of America, we haven't been united on nothing. So I feel like they need to get this together, real talk, because it's important, that job, and a lot of these jobs that's being neglected and the people whose pay is being neglected, they do a job that's important. Keep the skies safe. That's what she said that stuck out to me. This is absolutely irresponsible to be having people working and not getting paid, doing things for the government for free. You know, back to the keep the skies safe topic and fault. You know, people are riding planes every day. I don't know how many people get on a plane every day, but it got to be in the hundreds of thousands when I look at these, how packed these airports is in just one specific city. Our air traffic controller is mandatory. Like, not just for the citizens, but even for the people that's in politics. Why would I want the leader of the country, even Trump, even if you don't like him, why would you want the leader of a country leaving, flying out, and the person who was, you know, controlling the air and the traffic in the air not getting paid? Why would I want to get on a plane and the person that is protecting, letting me know is not getting paid? They still got to come to work. They still got to care. They still got to be cautious. They still got to be thoughtful. When they could be mad and just be laying back on their phone, chilling, and whatever happens, happens. This is a very irresponsible situation that the people in government is showing. And they leaving the responsibility on people that is not getting paid. Your life is in the hands of somebody who is not getting paid. And the government who you pay your taxes to is making this decision. That is foolishness.
There it is. I'm trying to be very respectful to everybody because they deserve it. Why? Let me say that. No, because you deserve it. But let me say this. I don't think Washington understands how ticked off we truly are. Think about the conversation that we're having right now. You brought up the single-payer system, emulating Canada. You know, we're looking at a president that just gave $20 billion to Argentina. Mm-hmm. We're hearing about or witnessing what I consider to be a retribution tour. And even though to some degree I don't blame him because of how people went after him, still it appears to be counterproductive. We're listening to this kind of stuff while a young man walked up to the microphone and said that he had to leave here to go and work on DoorDash to help pay for his daughter's tuition. Meanwhile, everybody up here getting paid. But he ain't. This is this kind of stuff right here. That's how you know, and I'm not accusing any of you directly or personally of feeling this way. I'm just talking about the apparatus that is Washington, the nation's capital. This is why you have so many Americans, excuse my language, so pissed off at Washington, because somehow, some way, you get to have these conversations, engage in specific elements of it to talk about what we need to do to get things better. Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayer's been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough to make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now. A man has to work on DoorDash when he's really an air traffic controller that we applauded. And we're up here talking about how much some money is going to cost. And the only person that don't have a check coming is him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break.
All right. We'll go to the audience.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Stephen A. a fool, boy. I can see how the player haters hate Stephen A. though. Because that was theater. That was straight theater. That was straight entertainment. He brought the entertainment aspect. He went, took him a break. He thought he had a drop the mic moment, but what he said was valuable. You know, we pay taxes, man, to the leaders of this country to make the best decisions for us and for the country. This is a question I pose to y'all. Do y'all think y'all tax dollars go to the best interest of the country and you? Majority of our tax dollars don't even go to anything that we even interested in. Real talk. We ain't interested in funding Ukraine. We ain't interested in funding Venezuela. We ain't interested in none of that. We want all people to eat. And when I say all people, I mean all the Americans that identify as America and will go to war and die for America. Real talk. Black, white, whatever. If your interest is this country and the best interest of this country, then, you know, your tax dollars ain't going to what you feel like is best for us and best for you. No cap. I don't feel like that. And Stephen A's point was good. That was a real good point. But the people up there that is making the decisions are still getting paid. Hey, salute to Stephen A. Smith, man. You know, they try to label a lot of black things radical. The Black Panther Party. So many things that was created. Black Lives Matter, radical. A whole bunch of things. These folks are radicals. But, you know, they don't talk about themselves and the radicals that's a part of their party. Because when I look at the division in the country, the Republicans and the Democrats just look like corporate Crips and Bloods. Blue and red. You the ops instead of us being united. It come from the top. If you want unity in your community, if you want unity within the race, it come from the top. You know, I felt as if Trump would have been a better president than Kamala Harris because the things that was hidden during the Biden administration needed to be exposed. And Trump exposing them. And people are exposing themselves. But in the divided states of America, the top has to show unity to expect the bottom to act right. The leadership ain't showing unity, then how you going to expect the people at the bottom to show unity? The rhetoric that's being spewed, if it's theater and entertainment, like what Trump is doing, and he is like in the media, he is like a poster, he's posterizing, he's everywhere, he's making decisions. He's an old man that is, I never seen a president this much. And just this active. And just here, there, stopping wars, doing this, bringing the guards over here, talking crazy about this, making decisions, penning stuff, penning bills. The big, beautiful bill he done so much in these 9 months. I ain't never seen a president this active. But I want to talk about the radicalization on both sides. I want to play a clip of this young guy who spoke about that on News Nation. But before I play the clip, I want to talk about, you know, the Charlie Kirk situation. That was on the Republican and the conservative side. That was on y'all side. The Democrats, they got, they protesting and rallying, and this No Kings thing is going on right now while I'm recording this. People are just all over the place, and they very radical.
This dude was a far-right neo-Nazi who had anti-Semitic messages online. I think that there's an undercurrent of radicalization that's stemming from a few things. As a 23-year-old, I lived through COVID during my most formative years, and I was able to rebound and have a social life, but a lot of young people didn't really get to rebound. Imagine having this bubble up around you during COVID, and you never really get to pull that bubble down, so you get sucked deeper and deeper down these algorithms online. Those algorithms are then, incentivized to push the most outrage, whether it's foreign bots like Russia and Iran trying to get people outraged, or domestic actors. I think Elon Musk's Twitter feed, for example, is disgusting and could radicalize a lot of young people. I disagree with the idea that violence disproportionately comes from young progressives. It is uniquely up this year, but if you look at any polls, according to CSIS, political violence overwhelmingly comes from the right. These mass shootings come from the right. And when it comes to the leaked text messages that came out 24 hours ago, I don't think it's fair to say there's an undercurrent just on the left. I know what you mean, but there's also an undercurrent on the right. There is something deep and dark boiling inside the GOP, and it's like the Nick Fuentes faction of the GOP. You can't deny that this is boiling when we got these leaked texts 24 hours ago. I do not like when people are characterizing these as kids in college. These were grown adults. Some of them were 32 years old. One of them was a state senator from Vermont. Today, we saw an Ohio aide with a swastika in the back. I would never claim that this is representative of an entire party, but I do think there's an undercurrent of radicalization on both sides.
You know, and what's going to be done about that? Who actually cares about that and want to see change in that and from that? I think that the radicalization is being prompted up and being promoted and being funded and supported by certain individuals. Now, I want to close that conversation off with saying that that was a great discussion. I feel like if y'all are concerned about the country and want to hear conversation between both parties, y'all should check that out. And, you know, go check out News Nation's Town Hall debate. What I want to say in closing, though, about that is that Bill O'Reilly, I didn't play none of his talking points and his clips, though, but when that young guy got through speaking that I played the clip to, Bill O'Reilly asked him a question that caught my attention, and the guy couldn't answer it well. He said, "Where do you get all your information from?" And that's important, because if you're getting it from CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, who is your source? You know, that is a great question, because when you speak about things in your source, these folks could be swaying you to believe a thing in a way that's really not reality if you don't know who the actual source is, because these platforms aren't the source. The people that they talking about is the source. So that's why it's valuable to be objective, because you ain't speaking directly to the source. You don't want to talk bad about something because you seen an article or you seen a headline and you didn't dive deep into the information to be able to understand it, or you don't know the person. You ain't the source. So your talking points is just talking points. Great conversation. You know, I want to read this article to y'all because make it make sense. The National Guard is in Memphis right now. And to me, I can't defend crime, to be honest with you. That's just not who I am as a person. I don't like crime. I don't like when people are trying to hurt each other. Like that's, you know, that ain't for me. But they're cleaning the streets up. It's some people that's happy about it. It's some people that's sad about it. But I think it's a deeper issue and it's something deeper going on. And we're going to get into it. But I want to read a piece of this article. I ain't going to read all of it, but it's called The Tennessee Lookout. That's our source. The commentary is a billionaire, an AI supercomputer, toxic emissions, and a Memphis community that did nothing wrong. Memphis dealings with Elon Musk provide a textbook example of how the people who contribute to the least to the environmental harm often suffer the most from it. So classy dynamics influence the environments in which humans live. Yet, when this topic arises, it's almost always framed as a global issue. For example, anthropologist Jason Hickel recently published a now viral map displaying how, by the year 2070, 2 billion people will be residing in regions exposed to extreme potential unavailable heat. Approximately 99.7% of those people will be in the global south, a grouping of poor, formerly colonized nations, primarily in Latin America, Africa, and parts of Asia, that are responsible for less than 20% of historical carbon dioxide emissions, meaning the people who have contributed the least to planetary warming will be the ones who suffer from it the most. Though the United States is a wealthy country firmly entrenched in the global north, there are rarely discussed yet very similar dynamics playing out within our nation's borders, including in Memphis. Now here is what's happening in Memphis. This is interesting. I got to read this paragraph to y'all. Then I'm going to play a few clips of what people think about the National Guard and stuff. We're going to get into this Memphis topic kind of deep a little bit. Once a green energy advocate, tech billionaire Elon Musk shifted his focus to the artificial intelligence arms race and established Colossus in Memphis in 2024, an AI supercomputer facility designed to power and train Musk's AI chatbot Grok. Colossus is slated to be the world's largest supercomputer, but at what cost? The facility is currently operating 33 methane-powered gas turbines to fuel its AI technology, despite holding a permit for only 15. The supercomputer facility is located in a poor, predominantly black Memphis community with historical high rates of pollution-related illnesses and disproportionate rates of industrial pollutions. The magnitude of this energy draw and resulting pollution at Colossus is colossal, according to the Southern Environmental Law Center. The facility draws enough electricity to power approximately 100,000 homes. Well, damn, in Gucci Man voice. Those inputs are alarming, but the outputs are even worse. The facility's behemoth methane gas turbines increases Memphis smog by 30 to 60% as they belch planet-warming nitrogen oxides and poisonous formaldehyde around the clock. Pollutants linked to respiratory and cardiovascular disease, quoting SELC times AI has been operating dozens of unpermitted methane gas turbines without public notice. Permits are air pollution controls. The number of turbines and extent of their emissions likely make AI the largest industrial source of smog-forming pollutants in Memphis. You know, this is a pretty long article. I'm going to put it in the description below. It's from Tennessee Lookout. I never heard of this platform before. It's like a newsletter, and it's dope too. They got a whole bunch of things talking about politics, immigration, investigations, cash for clout, environment, education, and healthcare. So that's a dope platform. Go check them guys out, man. They're doing a pretty dope thing over there. But I want to play a few clips of what people are doing in Memphis, Tennessee that's very interesting to me. One person is thanking Donald Trump with this viral clip, thanking Trump for sending the National Guards to Memphis.
Whatever. But I will say thank you to Trump for bringing these National Guards and doing what they're doing down here in Memphis right now. You know, for the first time in 5 years. I've been in my home for 5 years. And for the first time, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks.
I'm going to play this next lady who said, it's been peaceful.
This in Memphis says she's grateful because the last 2 weeks, it's been quiet, it's been peaceful. Her kids have been able to play. And y'all have a problem with that? It's becoming real clear who the enemy is. When you put your politics above the safety of black women and black children, you have completely lost the plot. And the mayor of Memphis is a black man. He's been in office since January 2024. He's had a year and 9 or 10 months to do what Trump did in 2 weeks.
You know, those people that be in those positions of power really don't have no power in decision making. And they really don't take advantage of their power when they do have it. Make a decision that, you know, is going to be in the best interest of your people. But don't keep making political decisions so you can maintain the seat, so you can maintain the power and the finances. Because that's what majority of the people do when they get in those political positions. But I want to play this young lady who said, they gentrifying Memphis. Why y'all celebrating Trump coming here doing what he doing to the street?
Just seen 3 separate videos of women in Memphis thanking Donald Trump for the work he's doing here by sending the National Guards here, saying, like, Oh my God, the neighborhood is so safe now. My kids are able to play outside. I haven't heard a gunshot in weeks. Thank you, Donald Trump, for sending the National Guard here and for protecting our city. You really are making America great again. You are dumb because it sounds like you live in a neighborhood that's not so good. And that same neighborhood that you congratulating him on your kids being allowed to play outside in, he's about to push your black out of it. He's about to go and gentrify the whole area. Why do you think he's trying to get rid of criminals, of black people, of bad seeds, so he can get the lower class people out of the lower class neighborhoods that they pushed our into? You get what I'm saying? To take it from us and build higher class neighborhoods and make this city into a tourist city. It's all a money scheme, and y'all dumb are not upset about this. Let's just be real, bro. Memphis is an impoverished city. Most of our citizens are a part of the lower class. Your grandma, your auntie, your cousin that's poor, that's on EBT, that's getting Social Security, she's gonna get pushed out of her house because they finna tear all that down, gentrify it, and turn it into, y'all not hearing me, bro.
You know, I like the passion, but the message could be conveyed differently. You know, sometimes you got to take your feelings out of things. That's what we've been talking about a lot on this Make It Make Sense episode. Sometimes you got to take the feelings and emotions out of things and speak logically and objectively because, you know, that type of rhetoric that she's spewing and the way that she's saying it, ain't nothing gonna change behind the way she's conducting it. But to me, you know, the violence that was going on in Memphis for so long, because I remember that used to be a thing. Me coming up as a teenager, which I'm 45 now, Memphis celebrated being violent and being gangs and robbing and all of that and all murder rate high. Even the city next to it, Jackson, Tennessee, how the crime rate, that was something that was celebratory to those individuals over there in West Tennessee. And I know it's a few neighborhoods and states and cities that celebrate, we got the highest murder rate. Like that was you remember rappers used to rap about having the high murder rate and stuff, like it was something to celebrate. But to me, that allowed your people to maintain and stay poor, because once the violence is there, the money is gone. You got to think about anybody with some money or getting some money or wanting to have some money. Being in a place that's violent is the last place I want to be. So if you reacting with violence, even if you poor, you got to calm down the violence so we can at least come up financially. Nobody with no paper want to be nowhere where it's violent. So the government sees that Memphis is in a prime location. It's the middle of the country. We can get to the West Coast fast. We can get to the East Coast fast. We can get to the North. We can get to, we can get Northwest Seattle. We can go Northeast and be in New York right quick. This is prime location. These niggas down here acting a fool. The prices for the houses is $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in the impoverished communities. Oh, prime real estate. Let's go handle our business and take over. They committing crimes. We clean the streets up. They can't defend themselves. Hey, it's just what I see, man. I want Memphis to win. I want the brothers to come together, unify. We see the rappers killing each other with Dolph and Gotti, and the crime just through the roof, and I ain't for all that. I ain't celebrating none of the dumb shit. That's dumb shit. But I want to get back to what the topic of discussion was about in the first place, and it was what Elon Musk is doing in Memphis. And, I seen this documentary, and I just wanted to play this little clip for y'all, because this is some of the plans, and this is how some of the people feel.
Frightening. Easter and her husband have also developed COPD. What does it feel like?
Feel like you're fixing to die.
The area around XAI leads the state in emergency department visits for asthma. Memphis has one of the highest rates of toxic air releases of any American city, and many of its most polluting facilities are in this neighborhood.
Elon, what he did with Memphis is objectively somewhat dirty, but he's also doing it in an area where there's like a bigger natural gas plant right next door and like a wastewater treatment and a garbage dump nearby, right? And he's obviously made the world a lot more clean than that one data center.
In just 1 year, XAI has blown past existing polluters.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx. I'm an air pollution guy, so I deal in those numbers all the time, and that's larger than anything else in Memphis.
Gas turbines like these release three main types of deadly pollution: nitrogen oxides, formaldehyde, and fine particulate matter. Nitrogen oxides combine with other pollutants to form ground-level ozone, which causes and worsens asthma and COPD. Formaldehyde causes cancer, and particulate matter, airborne soot, can pass through your lungs and into your bloodstream, causing heart disease.
We've shown up today because we've been to too many funerals. We've shown up today because we've cried too many tears. We've shown up here today because we're tired. And we have an expectation of the people that we elect and put into place. We expect them to do what is in our best interest. Not of Elon Musk. And what we're saying is that stops now.
You know, Judge Joe Brown told me something that everybody should do, and it go followthemoney.com. The people that you elect and put in power is getting money from the people that's really in power, the people with the finances. If Elon Musk come to Memphis and he talked to he sit all those people down in the room, and they don't even know it's him, that somebody set up the meeting, and he walk up in there and say, "You're gonna take the bag to allow me to do what I need to do here, and you take the brunt of the foolishness," while he's over there creating a monster. 90% of them people gonna sell out. It might be a higher percentage than that. Everybody got a price. Everybody got a price. On that, like you the realest. Appreciate y'all tuning in to my show though, man. This was a long one. Hour 44 minutes. Dolo. Hey, hope y'all enjoyed yourself, man. I'm at this thing though, man. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money. And I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.